welcome to the Stock Boy Gaming channel, where today we're going to be living our lives 1/4 mile at a time, Dom Torretto style here in GTA. All of the new tuner cars are going to be tested. We're going to be putting them up against cars that are comparable to each other, and I've been trying to think of how to do this, how to make it fun and informative, all that good stuff all in one. I think I've figured it out, and I'm pretty excited for this video. So we're going to be doing modern tuners versus classic tuners, and we've got it set up as a tournament. It's going to be a pretty good time. Make sure you stick around to the end. I've got 1/4 mile times for all these cars that I will show you in a list there, but for now, let's jump right in. We're going to have some fun. Our first matchup, we're going with modern tuners. The Tailgater S is on the left, and the Cypher is on the right. The Cypher based off of a BMW H2, this isn't a Hummer, BMW M2. The Audi on the left, or I guess the Tailgater on the left, is an Audi S3. We're going to see how quick these things are, and the Cypher gets off to a pretty solid start. The Tailgater should probably be faster than it is in the game, but you can see the Tailgater is our first eliminated car. Now it's time for our first classic tuner matchup. You got the Fudo GTX on the left, the Remus on the right. Both of these cars are a little quicker than people like to give them credit for, and the original Fudo was pretty quick too. You can see they're fairly even on the way to that 8th mile line. Remus has a little bit of an edge, and it's going to hold on to it all the way to the end. Fudo GTX is eliminated. Now we're back on the modern tuner side of the bracket. We've got the RT3000 on the left, the Euros on the right. The RT3000 based on the Honda S2000, the Euros based on a Nissan 370Z. Both pretty awesome tuner cars, and they were made after the year 2000, which makes them modern. You can see the Euros just barely beats this thing to the 8th mile line. Can the RT3000 catch up? No, the Euros is on to the next round. Let's get some muscle going in here. This is a heavyweight battle. Dominator GTT on the left, ASP, Dominator ASP on the right. Both of these cars in the muscles class should be pretty quick here. They both get off to pretty even starts. The ASP starts to pull ahead by the 8th mile. Can the GTT catch up? It's not going to. The ASP is really fast, and it's on to the next round. We just did the Fords, so why not put the Porsches next to each other? On the left, you've got the Growler, one of my favorite cars, so much fun. On the right, you've got the Comet S2, another one of my favorite cars. They're both a blast. They're both great additions to the game in this update. Which one's faster on a 1/4 mile, though? They're very even to the 8th mile, and the Growler just barely eliminates the S2 from the competition. Oh, that one was close. We're moving fast in this one. We've got the brand new Previan on the left. The ZR350 is on the right. Both of these cars are awesome, both classic tuner cars. I don't care that the Previan has a V8 model in it. I'm calling it a 2JZ. So 2JZ on the left, rotary on the right. Crazy even to the 8th mile line. What's it going to look like at the 1/4 mile? The ZR350 barely edges the Previan, and it's going to go on to the next round. Talking about fast Toyotas, we've got the new Supra on the left, the Jester RR versus the Lexus RC on the right. Maybe a BRZ. It's called the Vector in the game. Both of these cars are awesome, and they're both pretty underrated in this update. They're very even on the way to the 8th mile. The Vector may have a slight edge, but it gets beat just barely. Jester RR is moving on. How about a big-time showdown? Early on, we're doing the Calico GTF versus the Sultan RS Classic. Two awesome, legendary all-wheel drive tuner cars. Two cars that are very quick. Which one's going to be fastest? It looks like the GTF on the left has the edge, and it does. It beats out the Sultan RS Classic in the first round. Whew, I got to catch my breath a bit as we look at how the first round went. We've got some great cars that made it through and some great cars that got eliminated, like the Sultan RS Classic. It kind of drew a tough match there, just based on the fact that it is so closely related to that Calico GTF. But we're on to the second round. Growler versus Cypher. The Growler beat out the Comet S2 just barely, and the Cypher showed us that the Tailgater S is not very fast. Will the Cypher be able to keep up with the Growler here to the 8th mile? They're pretty even. Growler has a little bit of an edge, and it's going to carry that all the way to the end, but the Cypher hung in there pretty well. Pretty well is not going to get you to the next round, though. The Remus is now going to have to go up against the Calico GTF. I mentioned the Remus is a lot quicker than people give it credit for. Watch it as we come up to this 8th mile line. It's not too far behind the Calico GTF, but the Calico GTF is pretty quick, and the Remus can't keep up. So now we're off to a big-time JDM battle. 370Z on the left, new Supra on the right. It's the Euros and the Jester RR. Which one's going to be quicker on the quarter mile? The Jester RR beats it just barely to the 8th mile, and as they're racing down to the quarter mile, you can see that it does start to pull away. Jester RR's on to the next round. And here we are with our last semifinals matchup, the ZR380 versus the Dominator ASP. Which car is going to be lucky enough to challenge the Calico GTF? They're heading off, and off the line they're pretty even. The Dominator ASP is just ahead a little bit by the 8th mile line. The RX-7's not going to be able to catch up, though. That ASP, once it gets going, it's really fast. We're going to take a second to look at that last round. The Cypher gets eliminated, and the Remus, not too much of a surprise. The Euros falling to the Jester RR. Jester RR is quick. The ZR380 made it. It made it into the semifinals, but couldn't quite hang on against the Dominator. We've got some awesome matchups coming up, some big-time heavy hitters, starting with the Jester RR and the Fister Growler. The Growler on the right, based on a Porsche Boxster. The Jester, based on the new Supra. Which one's the fastest in the quarter mile? Both of these will win you street races. Both of them have some great strengths. Which one's the quickest in a straight line? The Growler is going to move on to challenge the winner of the next race in the finals. And this is going to be a battle. The Calico GTF versus the Dominator ASP. Which one is going to be the fastest in the quarter mile? We're going to find out in just a couple of seconds. Heading off of the line, the Calico GTF is really fast. And you can see it beats it to the 8th mile. It takes the ASP time to get up to speed, and that means that the GTF beats it. And it's going to go to the finals to face off against the Growler. And just like that, we're down to 2 cars. It's going to be the Growler versus the Calico GTF. That's quite the battle. We've got to give some appreciation to the Supra and the Dominator ASP, though. They're both really fast cars in this game. And this tuners class is so much fun. I really wish they would take cars like the Penumbra FF and some others and bring them into tuners. Hopefully we'll see that in another update in the future. But now, we're off to the drag strip again for the finals, the showdown. The Calico GTF taking on the Fister Growler. Both of these cars are very popular in street races. Which one is the fastest at the drag strip? That Calico GTF just has so much initial acceleration. You can see that it beats the Growler to the quarter or the 8th mile line pretty well. And it carries that all the way to the quarter mile line. So we know the Calico GTF is the king of tuners as far as acceleration goes. And we're going to check out the quarter mile times list that I promised you. You'll see here that the only car in this game, not in this game, the only tuner class car in this game that beats an 11-second quarter mile is the Calico GTF. It's the only 10-second car. Dom Torretto would be disappointed in some of these other ones, eh? But the Sultan RS Classic faced off against the Calico GTF right away. That was a bit unfair. Like I said, though, I wanted to group these guys together based on how similar they are. The Growler is still pretty quick, and the Dominator ASP, like I said, it just takes a little bit of time to get going. Once it gets going between like the quarter and the half mile, it's really fast. So that is a good car. Remus might be a little bit of a surprise, along with the Vector for some, and the Fudo's right up there too. So we've got some pretty quick cars here. The Euros, the Dominator GTT, the Previan, and the Tailgater, a little bit disappointing. But overall, these cars are fun, and they're pretty quick. Oh man, I put a lot into this one, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did and you're still here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel in the bottom right. I got a lot more coming with this update. Thanks so much for joining, and I hope to see you next time.